Hello, and welcome to another one of our Speaker Spotlight series. Today, I have the beautiful Gina with me, and she is going to be sharing with all of you a few things. The first thing, Gina, is why don't you share a little bit about yourself? Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Oh boy. Okay. So I am a writer and brand strategist, and for about the last 15 years have been ghostwriting books and designing brands mostly for entrepreneurs and three kids and just recently launched a production company with a partner in Miami. We are looking at making mini documentaries and original content that is also a study in cultural intelligence and how content and story can shape the world we live in.
That sounds exciting. I can't wait to see what you create.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Um, and the next question is, what message would you have for women today?
So it's the message that I constantly have for myself, which is that you cannot outrun your intuition. You can stay a few laps ahead of it. It's always going to catch up. You can push it down and try to make it quiet. It's going to claw its way back to the surface. You can tell it to shush and it's going to eventually scream. And so to me, I feel personally like 100% of any kind of heartache or challenge I have had in my life, while it teaches you and you don't regret it, it could have been avoided had I followed my intuition. Um, how many times as women do we say, I had a feeling or I just knew? And we still do whatever external forces are telling us to do rather than what our gut says. So that to me is priority one, especially now I'm at midlife, I guess. The intuition gets stronger and you start to feel it in different ways. I feel it in my body. I feel it in, thoughts that come in. I experience it through things that stand out to me that, you know, signs and symbols, which sounds woo-woo and crazy, but it's not. If something is standing out to you, there's a reason. Pay attention to it. And I think that for me is the most important message is to not discount that little voice in our heads that's telling us to do what doesn't make sense, what's uncomfortable, what goes against the grain. Because it's, for me anyway, it is never wrong. Never wrong.
I think that is such a powerful message, and you are so correct because there's so many times that we look back and you're like, I knew that. I heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't I
Mhm.
listen? Yeah.
Yes.
So I
Hmm.
love that. And why don't you share what you're going to be sharing with all of the women about what you're going to be talking about in your 30-minute talk?
Yeah, so it's about what to do when the you realize that the life you built no longer reflects who you are. Um, we're on this treadmill and we build these lives and we hit these benchmarks, but when you reach, I'm going to be 50 this year, and when you reach that point and beyond, you really start to take stock of how much of your life isn't resonant with your essence and your soul. And it's about, how the whispers of our heart get buried under time and fear and obligation, and really how we can use what feels like a dark night of the soul as a threshold, as a portal into living a life that is more resonant and more fulfilling. I think there's some backward messaging that tricks us into thinking we are depressed, or that tricks us into thinking we don't know what to do. And I don't believe any of that is true. So I'm going to be talking about that and how you recognize where the invitations are. Sometimes these things that feel like challenges are actually invitations. And that's what it's about, how to recognize that, how to navigate it, how to find them, how to sort of reconnect with the voice that has been sleeping for years as everything else took center stage. And yeah, that's what it's about.
And I think that's such a perfect topic because there's going to be women of all ages that are gathering. And I feel like what's going on externally around the world is people are trying to find out how to move into those invitations, how to support themselves through it, and what does that look like. So I think this is
Yes.
very on point for what's happening right now. So thank you
Yeah,
for
and I
that.
just went through it today, actually. Yeah,
Oh,
I just went
really?
through it. Like it's funny. Sure, because sometimes we let our compassion betray us. Sometimes we let our desire to betray us. There was something I wanted really badly, and in my gut, I knew it was going to go south. And we let our desires or our fears or our hopes or our compassion speak louder. And once again, it ended up exactly how I knew it was going to end up, So it's just so important that we learn the language of ourselves.
Hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Such pivotal points of learning more about going within and what fits and what doesn't and what to trust and when your desire takes over. So, yeah, I love
Mhm.
this. I love that you are sharing because I just feel like you have such beautiful wisdom through your words, through your sharing, your teachings, and as a beautiful human. So I'm excited that everyone is going to get to experience you on Shine. And then lastly, what is the beautiful gift that you're going to be giving to all the participants?
So I'm so excited about this. So years ago, over 10 years ago, I was going through a tough time and I heard about a meditative labyrinth that you could walk at a convent near my house. So I went to it. Long story short, I'm there and I was just you're supposed to ask a question and then the answer comes as you walk. And as I was walking, I kept hearing like these what I was calling like principles of peace. That's really what I want is how do I be at peace in this? Because the reality is we can't always change our lives. We have to learn how to be at peace within what we have. That's one thing that I feel like the personal development industry does wrong is that you can change, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes your reality is what it is, and it's going to be that way for a while. So, how do you be at peace? So, I started getting this download of all these principles of peace, this sort of how to step by step. And I ran to my car, and if you have kids, you know that your car is disgusting. And I was grabbing napkins and receipts and writing down everything. And it became this beautiful program called the Miracle Project. And we had hundreds and hundreds of women go through it. Their experiences were amazing. And then I moved into brand strategy and ghostwriting books, and I kind of put it away. So this is the first time in 10 years that we are taking it back out. And there's a little mini version of it that we're going to be giving to this audience. And it's really a beautiful, deep lesson, but it's also fun. It's meant to be what I was calling user-friendly enlightenment. It's really like depth and change wrapped up in girl talk and me time.
And I love that you're pulling it out of the archives from 10 years ago because it's a 10-year, 1 year if you break it down. And this is the 10th year of Shine. So I
Yeah.
feel like that is so fitting and what a beautiful, fun thing for everyone to receive. So thank you so much for being a part of Shine, Dawn of the Sovereign Woman. And I'm excited for you to share and to be part of this day with us.
Thank you. It's an honor. I can't wait.
You're welcome.